Sprinkler head valves often need replacing, and depending on how they were originally fitted, these sometimes can be a hassle to remove unless compression couplers were used. This facilitates the pipe to be separated a lot more easily and the sprinkler head valve to be rotated and screwed off. Here, threaded fittings were used on the outflow side of the valve, and on the inflow side, a compression coupler was fitted. A compression coupler really only needs to be used on the inflow or the outflow. Some people put them on both sides. This makes taking the valve off even easier. Once the wires are separated and the compression coupler is separated, this allows the sprinkler head valve to be rotated counterclockwise off the threaded pipe fitting, thus allowing the valve to be easily removed. This takes literally minutes. This installation has threaded fittings on both the inflow and the outflow pipes. Having a solid piece of pipe on one side and a compression coupler on the other has many advantages. This being that there are less points along the pipe that have a chance to leak. With this in mind, a good amount of plastic tape should be applied to the fitting in a clockwise direction. 3 to 4 winds around the thread with the tape should be enough to give a good seal. So this is the compression coupler. It fits together like this. The small piece here on the bottom of the pipe, this is glued. It's a threaded connector. The top part of the valve fits up under the valve. The bottom part of the compression fitting screws onto the threaded connector. This is the top half of the compression coupler. A small 2-inch piece of pipe threaded on both ends has to be used to connect between the two female fittings on the compression coupler and on the valve. Once all the threaded fittings have their plastic tape applied, it's a fairly simple process to put all the remaining parts back together. After putting several wraps of tape around the thread on the pipe fitting, I'm going to fit the bottom half of the compression coupler. I'm just going to screw this on hand tight to start with. I can always tighten this up a little more if need be. And that should be enough. Not too tight. Next we'll connect the top half of the coupler. I'm going to pass the center part of the fitting through the center of the compression nut, and then I'm going to add more plastic tape. Again, double checking that the tape is applied in the correct direction. On the top of the valve there's a bleed screw. This can be used to bleed out water during new installation or maintenance procedures. With the upper half of the compression fitting now wrapped in tape, it can be threaded into the body of the valve. Firstly, I'll thread the piece in by hand to secure it into the valve body. Then, using a pair of grips, I will gently cinch up the fitting. This will give me a nice tight seal against the plastic tape. Now I'm going to rotate the valve slightly to line up the two halves of the compression fitting, checking the rubber gasket isn't pinched and the valve sits together nicely, and I'm just going to hand tighten the compression nut. I'm just going to rotate this round until I feel it grip. I'm going to use some grips on the bottom half of the fitting, and I'm going to use some grips on the compression nut on the coupler. This is just to apply a few more turns to give a little bit more pressure to the rubber gasket inside the fitting. Just a quarter turn will do it. Next I'm going to turn on the main shut-off valve to the irrigation system. I'm going to check all fittings for leaks. The bottom and the top seem okay. Next I'm going to put the wires back together. Waterproof wire nuts can be used, but I'm using regular ones here. These valves have a protective cover over them. This protects them from the elements. Once the wires are connected back together, this completes the installation of the new valve. Then we can turn the system on and check to make sure everything functions correctly. So if you like this video, consider subscribing, give the video a like and hit the bell icon. Good luck with your sprinkler valve project. Thanks for watching.